Criminal Law. Definition of terms. Part 4. Inciting to war or giving motives for reprisals. The penalty of reclusion temporal shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee, and that of prison mere upon any private individual, who, by unlawful or unauthorized acts provokes or gives occasion for a war involving or liable to involve the Philippine Islands or exposes Filipino citizens to reprisals on their persons or property. Violation of neutrality. The penalty of prison correctional shall be inflicted upon anyone who, on the occasion of a war in which the government is not involved, violates any regulation issued by competent authority for the purpose of enforcing neutrality. Flight to enemy's country. The penalty of arresto mere shall be inflicted upon any person who, owing allegiance to the government, attempts to flee or go to an enemy country when prohibited by competent authority. Piracy in general and mutiny on the high seas. The penalty of reclusion temporal shall be inflicted upon any person who, on the high seas, shall attack or seize a vessel or, not being a member of its complement nor a passenger, shall seize the whole or part of the cargo of said vessel, its equipment, or personal belongings of its complement or passengers. Expulsion. The penalty of prison correctional shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who, not being thereunto authorized by law, shall expel any person from the Philippine Islands or shall compel such person to change his residence. Violation of domicile. The penalty of prison correctional in its minimum period shall be imposed upon any public officer or employee who, not being authorized by judicial order, shall enter any dwelling against the will of the owner thereof, search papers or other effects found therein without the previous consent of such owner, or having surreptitiously entered said dwelling, and being required to leave the premises, shall refuse to do so. Dwelling means any building or structure exclusively devoted for rest and comfort as distinguished from places devoted to business, offices, etc. Inhabited house is any shelter, ship or vessel constituting the dwelling of one or more persons even though the inhabitants thereof are temporarily. Public building is every building owned by the government or belonging to a private person but used or rented by the government, although temporarily unoccupied by the same. Premises. Premises signifies distinct and definite locality. It may mean a room, shop, building or definite area, but in either case, locality is fixed. Grave threats. Any person who shall threaten another with the infliction upon the person, honor, or property of the latter or of his family of any wrong amounting to a crime. Unjust vexation. Unjust vexation includes any human conduct which, although not productive of some physical or material harm would, however, unjustly annoy or vex an innocent person. Seize. It means to place in the control of someone a thing or to give him the possession thereof. Robbery is the taking of personal property belonging to another, with intent to gain, by means of violence against, or intimidation of any person, or using force upon things. False keys are genuine keys stolen from the owner or any keys other than those intended by the owner for use in the lock forcibly opened by the offender. Brigandage is a crime committed by more than 3 armed persons who form a band of robbers for the purpose of committing robbery in the highway or kidnapping persons for the purpose of extortion or to obtain ransom, or for any other purpose to be attained by means of force and violence. Philippine highway. It shall refer to any road, street, passage, highway and bridges or other parts thereof, or railway or railroad within the Philippines used by persons, or vehicles, or locomotives or trains for the movement or circulation of persons or transportation of goods, articles, or property or both. Theft. Theft is committed by any person who, with intent to gain but without violence against or intimidation of persons nor force upon things, shall take personal property of another without the latter's consent. Fencing is the act of any person who, with intent to gain for himself or for another, shall buy, receive, possess, keep, acquire, conceal, sell or dispose of, or shall buy and sell, or in any other manner deal in any article, item, object or anything of value which he knows, or should be known to him, to have been derived from the proceeds of the crime of robbery or theft. Encumbrance. The term encumbrance includes every right or interest in the land which exists in favor of third persons. Malicious mischief. Malicious mischief is the willful damaging of another's property for the sake of causing damage due to hate, revenge or other evil motive. Adultery. Adultery is committed by any married woman who shall have sexual intercourse with a man not her husband and by the man who has carnal knowledge of her, knowing her to be married, even if the marriage be subsequently declared void. Lewd. Lewd is designed as obscene, lustful, indecent, and lecherous. It signifies the form of immorality which has relation to moral impurity, or that which is carried on a wanton manner. Concubinage. Any husband who shall keep a mistress in the conjugal dwelling, or shall have sexual intercourse, under scandalous circumstances, with a woman who is not his wife, or shall cohabit with her in any other place. Cohabit. The term cohabit means to dwell together, in the manner of husband and wife, for some period of time, as distinguished from occasional, transient interviews for unlawful intercourse,